Well, what up, everybody? Back at it again. Another weekend, which means our first market update video is Crucible of War. A couple of things before we get into it. Number one, in about 2 hours at 5:30 tonight, I'm gonna be live with Simon from Norway, and we're gonna do a booster box game. I don't know what we're gonna call it, box battle. It's not a true box battle. We got a different setup. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have like a points-based system, and it should be a good time. So maybe check that out at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. And then also, I just want to do a quick shout out to everybody who helps make all this happen. Let's start first with the patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. We have a awesome collection tracker for the patrons that utilizes all this data, and I just wanted to let everybody know, patrons, some of the Discord folks, the admins, actually put together a whole collection tracker. We kind of put together. Most of those guys did most of the work, and then I went through and added the promos too. So we're going to have a full collection tracker, as well as the regular individual ones will still be updated and still happen. But I just wanted to let you guys know that. So go to my Patreon if you're interested in all that. And then also, just a huge blessing that I think it's been to some people is our Discord server. It's been a ton of fun. We've got some stuff set up to do some games and have some discussion while the games are happening. We're going to be trying to run some events, and we also have like a great discussion channel that's been happening. It's been a lot of fun. And it's just been a lot of fun to have. So if you're not a patron, it really, I believe, is... oops, I turned myself off. It really, I believe, is a pretty easy, accessible thing. It's $5 a month. It gets you access to all the data, gets you access to those tables for playing games. It gets you access to a huge community of people. And I'm working on some other stuff that is also going to get you access, and I will not be raising the prices on anything. So that's awesome for the patrons. And then also, right now, we're going to talk about all my opinions all the facts in Crucible of War. But if you want to hear some more of my opinions on investing in Flesh and Blood, I do have a tier that's higher for investors to get in on, that I share my opinions in a podcast. So anyway, let's also highlight Mitch from the Midtown Merchant. Mitch and Andrew have an amazing website set up for singles, and Mitch and I have just become best friends. I think we are anyway. We chat all the time and just share ideas and stuff. It's just been a really good relationship. So I just want to highlight Mitch. He's given us a promo code, JustLove10, for 10% off all singles. That's a one-time use, and then patrons get one once a month. And then if you can't find your cards there, use my link in the bio. Use my link in the description. Dang it, I said it again. To help out the channel if you can't find cards there. So, all right, that's that TCG player. All right, let's get into it. Sorry, that was a longer intro. I just wanted to highlight some of those things that are kind of newer for everybody, and let's get into it. All right, so Crucible of War. This week we're seeing a lot of declines, but remember, we're going to try to see what the goal of this video is, to see, does the box EV equal the singles that are in the box or whatever. So let's talk about sealed product first. I'm seeing sold listings of the sealed product around $4.75, and I know Channel Fireball's price online is right around that as well. Actually going to have a 2-box opening of Crucible of War for a patron here in a couple days, maybe tomorrow, I think. That they sent me from Channel Fireball to open for them. So pretty cool. We'll see what the values are of those actual cards. So I've got it at $4.75. That's down a little bit from last week. Not a huge decrease. It seems like that's kind of going to be the flat line right now until we see what happens with additional boxes coming to the market, or if we end up drying up eventually. So that's kind of where we are on the prices there. You can see that trend line, right? Like we went way up when it was released out of print, and then we're kind of back to the same price that it kind of went to. It spiked here at the end of the year at 600. Sorry, that data is the spike happened at 600. It's just not lined up, but yeah, so we're kind of back down to where it was as boxes have trickled in, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. It seems like Channel Fireball is putting that price point right there, so I doubt it will go below the $4.75 is what I'm saying. So let's talk about the Arknight Shard. Okay, so I've got this one in red at $37.50, $3,750 for the Arknight Shard. I have seen 2 of them on Facebook for around $3,300 probably. I think it was $3,300. There's one that's on the Discord marketplace that's in euros, and that's for $3,000, which sits at around $3,600 US dollars. And then the one on Facebook has some pretty bad corners. It's even worse than mine that you've seen. And so that's why the price is down on it. So I left it at $37.50 because I just don't think a non-near mint version should be included in this data. So I believe a near mint would be sitting around $37.50, maybe even up to $4,000, depending on the time, place of when you're buying it. So that's kind of no change from last week. Let's go to the legendaries. We saw another Cheyenne sell at $2,200 on eBay this week, which puts it right with what it was last week. So no big deal. And then the tunic is starting to move up, and the tunic's been super interesting, right? Because it's kind of like what's going to happen with it. And it seems like it's just kind of gone up and down and up and down, and now it's up again to 225. It dropped down to 190 for a while, so just keep an eye on that. I don't know. I think it's mostly set collectors, as the foil version from WTR Unlimited is obviously more better, or like looks cooler because it's foil. So it'll be interesting to see what that price does. Definitely something to watch as set collectors. Like, I know I'm a set collector, so I wanted the crew one too, but that's probably what's driving that to make it above the WTR version, simply because set collectors are going to want the one from the set. But yeah. The Twinning Blade down to $620. This was a sale on eBay. I think it was a best offer accepted. So, I bet you the seller had it at $650, and they kind of finally came to a conclusion. Probably nothing to be worried about. All in all, really no market change there. Just a couple percentage points difference. The tunic went up and the Twinning Blade went down. So you're still sitting at an average in this slot at around $1,015. So. There's your progress line. We're kind of flatlined. It kind of matches the boxes, honestly, if you really look at it. If you compare it to the boxes, right? Like the graph line is about the same. Yeah, the spike and down and back, and now we're kind of flatlined. So let's go to the cold foils. There were tons and tons every week. There are tons of these cold foils sold and moving in the marketplace, both on eBay and TCG Player, as well as the Facebook marketplace. I see them all the time. So make sure whenever you are doing your own purchasing or doing your own selling, you are doing updated selling for yourself. Use my prices as a guide, but don't use them as gospel, because at any point in time you could probably find one more expensive or less expensive. This is just the snapshot of this week. So Mandible Claw, sitting at $102. The reverse is at $100. All these are kind of sitting the same. We got a little bit of a loss in Sledge of Invalheim, a little bit of a loss in the Kodachis, a $30 loss in the Edge of Autumn. Let's see. We saw an increase in the Zephyr Needle, the regular one. The one on TCG Player, the reverse one, is still there at $75. We saw Centauri Sabers lose $20 each. So kind of these cold foil rares are dropping just a little bit. Nothing too much. Again, I think a lot of people are opening boxes. I've seen plenty of people opening them. So that's probably what's driving some of these down quite a bit, especially as the rare ones, a lot of people already have them because they weren't like some $400 card that they couldn't buy. So interesting to see all that. The Reaping Blade is kind of starting to even out a little bit more. That and the Aether Conduit starting to even out a little bit more. They were kind of higher than the other rares a couple weeks ago, but now they've evened out to the price of the other ones. And the Majestics. The Majestics, no real huge difference. Breeze Rider Boots sold for $350 on TCG Player. We had a Crater Fist that sold for $300. Courage of Bladehold at $400. Visiertronic. These are all not really losing or gaining much. Oops, what did I just do? Undo. Command Control Z. Your average value of a cold foil is sitting right about the same as last week at $194.91. Last week it was $195.30. So anything, some things went up, but then other things went down, and it's just kind of the way the market is. It seems like a very, very stable market in these cold foils this week. Actually, the last couple of weeks, we had a little bit of a decrease last week, but really, I mean, if you look at the last month, we're at anywhere from 209 to 195. I mean, that's a $15 loss in 5 weeks. That's a pretty stable market, especially considering how many boxes have come to the market in the last couple of weeks. So, this average price, we just saw it kept going up, and then now it's just trailing down, and now we're sitting at kind of a plateau. The Majestic Rainbow Foils are a little bit different. A lot of these are entering the market. You remember, you get 2 Majestic Rainbow Foils on average per box. So the more boxes are open, it's not like the WTR ones where it's 1 in every 4 boxes. You get 2 in every box for the Majestic Rainbow Foils. So that might have something to do with it. Everything's pretty soft this week. Nothing major, like no giant losses. I would say Spoils of War is really the biggest one in my opinion. There are 3 of them right now on TCG Player for $75, and that what they were selling for $100 last week. So I thought that was kind of an interesting move that's happening. Let's see. The Magnetic Shockwave is down a little bit too. The Plasma Purifier, though, is kind of staying balanced. All the other cards losing maybe 10, 15, 10%. A couple of them are up a little bit, like Chain Lightning's up 25 cents, or the Gaze Ages is up $1. Coax the Commotion, Coax the Commotion, whatever you want to call it, is up $8. And then the Gorganian Tome, just like week after week, the last couple of weeks, is just getting annihilated. There's one on TCG Player for $180 today. And, there are sold listings for a little bit higher on other places, but I kind of use the lowest available or the lowest sold that I can find. So yeah, I mean, it was at 320 on the 9th, and it's down to 180. It's kind of interesting. And then Snag also, it has been soft the last couple weeks. I know there was somebody who was buying out a lot of the Snags, so maybe they've just kind of stopped buying them out, and I don't know what's happening, but we're at $65. It's nothing to sneeze at. But it was just interesting. As the market has happened, all these cards have kind of lost some value. This is 2 weeks in a row we've lost in the teens percentage of value on these. So, again, 2 per box. This is a result of more boxes being open more than it is a result of anything else. But some of these other ones, they jumped up faster. Like Snag jumped up faster. Spoils of War jumped up way faster than the other cards, and I don't know exactly what happened there, but it's super interesting. You can see the prices are really, everything's falling in the box, right? Like, look at that. You had a huge jump, a dip, a dump, a dump. Well, I have no clue what I just said. A huge jump, a dip, a jump, and then a dip, and we're seeing very similar stuff. I mean, this is a little stronger, a little bit more rapid, but very similar curves happening with all the cards. The regular Majestics are also down 10%. Nothing really super to write home about. Honestly, I really believe this week, maybe next week, probably the best opportunity to buy singles if you're looking to fill out your collections, just simply because the prices have dipped so much in the last couple weeks that if you're looking to fill out a deck, this seems like the best time to do it, in my opinion. That's just from the factual data that we've had 4 weeks of dips, and once the boxes dry out, that's going to end. But sorry, I thought I heard somebody come into my house. Let's see. It's just my dog. Anyway, let's see. Let's go on to I don't think there's anything huge there that I wanted to discuss. Courage of Bladehold. Oh yeah, I did want to say the equipment all kind of is holding the similar values as last week. But that, remember last week they dipped quite a bit. So you can see the trend line. It's even more rapid than the rainbow foils. The rare rainbow foils, this is one thing I wanted to highlight. All of these hero cards are selling like crazy, and I don't personally understand it. I know they are short printed. They are a little more short printed than the other cards, or maybe short printed is hard. Maybe it's just that there's so many of them that getting them consistently is hard. I don't want to say that they were short printed. I take that back. But they are definitely, some people definitely really want them because, I mean, look at this. This is on TCG Player. A Benji is sold for $99 and $99 and $70. I mean, these are sold listings, and then I use the TCG Player has one listed currently, so I use that price. But these are actual prices that people are buying for those. So all those are kind of similar to what they were last week, a little bit higher. But all in all, some of the other cards dropped down in value to 0%. So there's your trend line for those. And then the rares, really nothing huge. You've got your tokens are sitting pretty high, and those heroes, again, are $3 or $4 each. Some of the weapons are $1, $1.50. I have some of these listed on TCG Player. I get some sales every couple of days of the $1, $2 card, but nothing huge. All in all, this week, sellers have lowered their prices 8%. Remember, on the rares, I try to use mostly just the TCG lowest listed because I don't have time to go through every single card. And then cash in, we got to talk about every week. We had a huge kind of spike in cash in to $17, and we've lost some good value and cash in over the last couple of days. So last couple of weeks. There's your trend line there. And let's go ahead and look at the Runechant token and the Cracked Bauble. Currently, the list prices are going up a tad on that. Remember, these are not sold. These are listed prices. I do know that they are selling for around those prices too, though, because I see those all the time. And Runechant, the meme of the channel, sitting at $5.45. All right, let's go ahead and get to the EV calc. Your EV is sitting around $63.88 if you open 10 boxes. Remember that 1 in 10 chance of hitting a legendary is included in that. If you're just opening one box, you're going to be sitting at more like $502. And I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, a lot of that is also on the cold foil that you hit. If you hit the higher value cold foil, you're going to be sitting at probably $600. If you hit a lower value cold foil, you're going to be sitting at more of the $350 range. So just keep that in mind. Your average cold foil is sitting at $194.91. Your Majestics are sitting at $115 for 7 Majestics, and that, you know, your average one is different depending on if it's an equipment or a non-equipment. Your foil Majestics are sitting at $68. Your average foil Majestic is $34, but those are for the 2 foil Majestics. Your rares get you about $55. Your 5 foil rares will get you about $67, and that chance at the legendary gets you about $101. So all in all, $502. And let's go to the EV chart. That is a 4% loss. Sorry, at the 603.88 is the one that we track. That's a 4% loss over week to week on all the cards. So all in all, this is a result, again, of boxes entering the marketplace. It's really interesting to see how even this one, the EV tracker over time, compares to the sealed value, right? Like it's similar in shape of a graph because that's how it works. So I thought that was really interesting. So anyway, hope to see you at 5:30 today for a little box fun war we're gonna do with somebody from Norway, with Simon from Norway. It's gonna be really fun. I can't wait. And then I hope that I'll leave a link in the comment section for that. And then I also hope that if you want access to all this data, that you'll consider being a patron, and you can come hang out with us on Discord and play some games. We're gonna have some prize supported stuff that uses a gem account. I've got all that stuff approved through my local game store that has allowed us to run that, and LSS also told us we can do it too. So really excited for all that. I hope that you have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you.